Bienvenue dans Négatif, le podcast d'entretien à l'écoute des créateurs et créatrices d'images et de sons. Dans le cadre du Festival de Cannes 2019, nous vous proposons des épisodes spéciaux avec de courts entretiens à propos des films sélectionnés cette année. En partenariat avec la sélection officielle CANNES Classics, nous avons pu nous entretenir notamment avec certains réalisateurs et réalisatrices de films de patrimoine restauré ou de documentaires sur l'histoire du cinéma. Bonne écoute. Today we continue our special feature in the Cannes Film Festival with a new documentary about cinema that was screened in the Cannes Classics program. Bonjour Midge Costin.
Bonjour.
You are the director of Making Waves, the Art of Cinematic Sound. The film presents an history, mostly American, of the evolution of sound, and you directly ask sound designers, sound editors, and every sound artist or technician of the sound family. Directors such as Spielberg, Lynch, Nolan, Robert Redford, or George Lucas all testify about their importance of sound in their creative process. First, I'd like to ask you, what kind of target audience did you have in mind when making this documentary?
Yes, I had everyone in the world, every single person. I would love to hear. I would love to kind of teach or just make them aware of sound and sound in movies. And who doesn't like movies? That's what I think. So maybe it's for movie lovers, but I really think it could be for anyone. And what I love is having filmmakers, anyone like cinematographers, it's costume people, production designers, everyone think about sound, but also sound in their lives that will kind of extend out to them thinking about what are we hearing right now, like in the background? Rain on a tent above us. So
you wanted them to be aware of their surroundings?
Yes, and their sense of sound. So that's why it's so satisfying to both do it in films, like to work, think about story and character, and how do we intensify that, or how do we impact that and give the director what they want in terms of story and character, but also just in the world that people start to think about their surroundings, about how much their hearing and their sense of sound can really impact their lives, but particularly movies.
There's something that struck me in the documentary. It's that we often believe that cinema was born without sound, but you show us that it's the contrary. Thomas Edison's phonograph was invented in 1877 and couldn't be synchronized with moving images. Why did you want to make that point?
Yes, well, we wanted to make the point because actually Edison said that his favorite invention near the end of his life, he said, was the phonograph. So he loved sound, and then he created the camera just so it could match with picture. So we feel so we feel so less than, and people unaware of us and underappreciated, that we always want to point out when we can about the importance of sound. But we thought that was really interesting to find out that Edison actually did. He loved the phonograph, the best of his inventions.
But in France, we believe that it's the Lumière brothers who invented cinema, and there's no sound.
Yes, exactly. So, and so then I see, here's the truth about it's not sound by itself and it's not picture by itself, but I think the two together make something so unique. And I have found that when I'm working, it's like I'll look at picture and then sound. Sometimes I think the perfect sound when I find something in the library, here is this will be the perfect sound. But really it's this alchemy, this, kind of magical thing that happens when picture and sound come together, and you never know what's going to work exactly until you see the picture and sound together. So I don't think that sound's any more important. I think they go hand in hand.
And you show it in the documentary. Why was it so important that you have to show us quite a lot of sequences or just shots of movies where sound is important?
Yes, I have tried to read books about sound, and even though I'm very experienced in sound, I can't even understand them. And so I knew that to make this movie, it was really important to have clips and to show. So I wanted to be experiential. Otherwise, it's like you're getting it intellectually, but you're not getting it kind of viscerally. And I think that's what movies are about. And especially sound, it doesn't hit you intellectually, it hits you in your gut. And it's how we process sound in our brains. It's still like kind of lizard brain. Like it's just so, when you hear low sounds, you get scared because that's, it would be like when we were in the caves and stuff, it would be the lion or the tiger or the mastodon or something. I don't know if they existed the same times people did, but, and you had to be listening. And so, I think that's, anyway, that's just key sound, but yeah.
Was it hard to choose the right sequences without losing the rhythm of the movie?
Oh my gosh, it was so hard because it was so hard to know what to put in. I did 90 interviews and I wanted to capture this whole generation and everything about sound because maybe we could do a series but to really understand, because when we looked in the archives, there was nothing for sound in the first generation. Like there wasn't very much, but it was so hard because there's so many good things. And that was one of the reasons it took so long. We started to shoot in 2013. And it took us a long time to edit because we had so much good material. And so I tried to balance it out with like effects and then ambience and then dialogue or production sound, and tried to kind of balance it so that we got quiet films and we got different types of films. I wanted to do international, but honestly, there was so much to do that then I kind of zeroed in on American films.
What was the movie that made you personally realize the importance of sound in cinema?
The first, I would say the film that made me probably want to get into films was Ellen Renee's Night and Fog. I think I had a nervous breakdown after seeing it, and I remember the tone of his voice. And that he was so calm as he read it, the voiceover, and then we're seeing these horrific pictures that it can still bring chills and tears to my eyes thinking about that. And but I would say that, and then I remember Apocalypse Now. I remember probably Star Wars, but I think also it was I remember Robert Altman's film. I remember Nashville, so with all the voices, that he was capturing all these voices. I loved Ordinary People, so that's in the film too, a quiet film. And I have to say those are...
Did you watch them in theaters?
Yes, all in theaters. Well, because at the time, some of them, we didn't even have VHS, so it was really in theaters. And I still love to go to theaters to listen to the movies. Actually, it's one of my favorite things to do.
Because we often say that when we watch a film on Netflix or YouTube, the image is reduced, but the sound is also reduced. We don't have as many tracks and as many surroundings in our senses.
Yes, some people came up to me last night after the screening and said they had seen it on their computers or and they didn't get the impact. So it's really important. We're going to try to get a theatrical release so you can hear it in 5.1 because it's fun. But even if we don't, you know what I've been thinking? Because some people bemoan the fact that, oh no, everyone's listening on their headphones. There are better headphones. There are like now kind of 5.1 or like surround headphones, I think, for VR that they're doing. So virtual reality is helping that out. But also I think the smaller the image it gets, the more important sound will be. And even if it's stereo, it's like, I still think that sound, because it brings the emotion to the picture.
And what's the last movie you've seen that impressed you with sound?
Oh, I'd have to say Roma. Like, we put that in at the end because I had interviewed Skip Leafsay, and Roma, I feel like it did something different, which is like it started to use surrounds in a much more aggressive way, and that you even have voices. Like, I love when you're in the car and the kids are behind you. You're like in the front seat and the kids are in the back seat, and I just thought he did a great job. And again, it was Skip. It's not just the sound person, it's the director. And Skip Leafsay talked about how it was really Alfonso wanted to do something different. He sat and they just did the voices first, the production sound and the voices, and put them in different places. I thought it was brilliant. I loved it.
And last question, what kind of advice could you give young filmmakers who would like to learn about sound in a creative way?
Yeah, so to actually learn about it, if they don't go to film school themselves, I would say get connected with some film students, and a lot of times people when they come into school, they all want to be writer-directors. And so you can actually start to help them out, and if they'll have the equipment and everything. So I would say get involved with the sound, and they would be so happy to have somebody who would...
Just as we can see in the documentary about this golden generation of...
Yes,
the
and the other
70s.
thing I would say, here's my advice to student filmmakers. You can make sure that you get quiet production, so get a good location that's good so that you don't have to ADR or redo the sound, and then you can start thinking about, here's what you always think, break down the sound like this. What's the mood and the tone, and then put a good stereo ambience in and set the tone, and then think about what are the plot points in the scene, and how do you want to reflect character? Like, what is the person's car sound like? What does their neighborhood sound like? What do their neighbors sound like? What does their dog sound like? Even just like someone's engine, like, is it a rough kind of old car, or is it a brand new car and has like a Porsche sound, beautiful sound, hum, or, so really just think about, break the sound down like you would break the picture down, and the acting and blocking and all of that. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much. It was great to talk to you.
And we recommend this movie for all filmmakers or people who don't know anything about sound.
Merci d'avoir écouté cet épisode spécial de Négatif depuis le Festival de Cannes 2019. Vous pouvez nous écouter et nous réécouter sur notre site négatif.co et sur Facebook, YouTube, iTunes ou Spotify. À bientôt!